Oh, hello, I'm Burt Green and this is the Burt Locker. The timings of my shows have been a little sporadic lately. I've basically decided I'm going to stick to a new schedule. So Sundays, I'm going to be doing my regular kind of normal show. Basically what this is, guys, if you haven't seen it before, it's a sports/comedy podcast, well, video YouTube show effectively, where I talk about the sports that I enjoy, mixed martial arts, NFL, NASCAR, Formula One, before Max or Lewis has won the championship. After that, I kind of lose interest, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, so the Burt Locker is a very general show in that respect. I do some focus videos, casuals guides to the UFC events. That I'm going to keep focused on the UFC. This Sunday show is going to be more of a general ramblings, musings, as it were, recapping the event just gone, although there was no UFC event this week, but I haven't recapped Strickland versus Du Plessis yet. So this week I am going to be looking at why loads of people believe that Sean Strickland beat Dricus Du Plessis and why they are wrong. I'm going to be looking forward to the championship games in the NFL, Baltimore Ravens versus Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers against the Detroit Lions. Some live, real-time betting, and also we're going to be looking at where I'm going to be doing some stand-up comedy this week. First up, let's go with the comedy. So I'm going to be at the Spinney Hill in Northampton. Anybody who's local to me, just please pop down, come and give it a shout. It's a pretty fun night. emceed by a good friend of mine, Dean Miller, who's very, very good. He's very funny, and yeah, there's some funny guys on there. I'm also there. It's just, yeah, it's gonna be. I haven't done a gig in a couple of weeks, so hey, look, if you want to see somebody who's really pretty good at stand-up comedy, but also rusty as hell because they haven't been up in a couple of weeks. I mean, it could be a car crash. I mean, that's as funny as anything else, am I right? Yeah, so get down there, Spinney Hill, Northampton, Tuesday, 30th of January. And also, not for nothing, you are looking at the Project Mayhem Digital Comedian of the Year Awards for 2023. Huh? How about that? Effectively, what I did is I asked a bunch of my friends to email votes in for me. So whether I deserved it or not, I wanted to make sure that I got the award. Well, you know, so effectively just like the Academy Awards in a lot of ways. You know, just completely meaning. Well, it's not meaningless to me. I'm just glad to have actually won something because the Project Mayhem is one of my favourite comedy nights. If I'm honest, it's just a whole lot of fun. So, let's talk about Sean Strickland versus Dricus Du Plessis, shall we? A lot of people were upset because it was a close decision, because apparently you can't have close decisions in the UFC without people throwing their toys out the pram and screaming robbery. Number one, it was a close fight, so it's never a robbery. If it's close, it's never a robbery. Also, not for nothing, I have rewatched the fight on mute, and I have not changed my opinion on it at all. Sean Strickland won round 1, Du Plessis won rounds 2, 3 and 4, and then round 5 was kind of a toss-up, but because of championship advantage, I'll give that to Sean Strickland. It was a clear 3-2, if not 4-1, in favour of Dricus Du Plessis. I do not know why it was a split decision, because frankly, it just shouldn't have been. Now, what a lot of people are saying that Strickland won because of the fight stats and blah, 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 blah. Number one, the fights are scored per round. So stop referring to the fight stats overall. It makes you look like an idiot. I mean, I make myself look like an idiot all the time. But anybody that posts the overall strike numbers for the overall fight and then says, look at these numbers. So, I mean, obviously Strickland won. You look like you fucking got dropped on your head as a child, because everyone knows at this point, if you've watched MMA one time, you know that it's scored per round in the UFC. Come on. Also, the significant strikes numbers, the judges don't actually have those, right? And there's a good reason for that, because not all significant strikes are the same. And this is why Dricus Du Plessis won the fight. Because, okay, Sean Strickland, he did some damage with that jab. I'll concede that point. He did damage, but there was no real impact. There was nothing that stunned like Dricus. I think there was maybe like a big overhand right in the 5th round that kind of got his attention. Outside of that, everything Sean threw, Dricus just ate and kept on going forwards. Going forwards, I might add. Strickland was on the back foot the entire fight. Much like Adesanya was when Strickland fought Adesanya. Strickland won that fight by moving forward. Dricus won this fight by moving forward and being the aggressor. Strickland, the jab was effective. It made a lovely mess of Dricus's eye, right? And that is damage. And yes, damage is a criteria within the impact factor of the scoring. Which brings me to my next point. Dominic Cruz really needs to stop confusing everybody, because people will believe what he says, right? Because he's Dominic Cruz. But when Dominic Cruz sits there and says damage is the highest primary scoring criteria, he is wrong. He's incorrect. I don't understand why he's getting it so wrong, because it's really very simple. Damage is not a scoring criteria. Now, you're all going to be shouting at me at this point going, but Burt, they changed it a few months ago. Damage is the scoring criteria. Incorrect. Incorrect. It's called impact. The primary scoring criteria is impact. Damage forms a part of that, but not the only part. The impact is impact. What effect are those strikes having on the fighter? Right? Everything Dricus was throwing, the head kicks he was landing, every strike that he landed to the body, all those big overhand rights, everything that connected, even if Sean was rolling his head out the way, he was rolling his head out the way and stepping backwards. The effect was Dricus was moving Sean backwards the entire fight, especially for rounds 2, 3 and 4 with those big strikes. He also managed to get the takedowns, and I know I'm already hearing your voices. But takedowns don't score now if you don't do anything with them. Incorrect. That actually goes into part of the impact factors that decide the fight, right? Because if there's nothing else to score, like they don't just score the takedowns, but he did get the takedowns, he forced Sean to work, and they have to be taken into account, and they still are taken into account. So stop saying that takedowns don't factor into the scoring whatsoever. They're not scored as highly as they were before. But if you score a takedown and it's a successful takedown and it's scored as a takedown, it still scores for you. It still does. So that, for me, not even just for me, most importantly for the judges on the night, the ones who got it correct anyway, shouldn't have been a split decision. But Dricus du Plessis won that fight. Strickland did not do Strickland lost every round except round number 1. Round number 5, you could give it to Strickland, maybe. And that's all I'm going to say on the subject. We have the new champion, Dricus du Plessis. The S is silent, and I'm a big fan of Dricus. I think he's got a physicality that's very kind of unique to him. He's very awkward in his style, but he has good fights, and not for nothing, right? People are so focused on the result, they forgot the fact that they witnessed a wonderful fight. It was a fantastic contest. Just enjoy the fight, because honestly, I didn't really have a dog in the fight. I mean, I had Dricus by TKO, so my bet was off either way. I didn't, the result in and of itself was not a huge factor for me, but yeah, very happy Dricus won. Commiserations to Sean Strickland. I'm sure, look, if he gets one more win, he's going to work his way back to the title. No instant rematch. You must defend the belt one time to get an instant rematch. And speaking of undeserved title shots, what the hell is Khamzat Chimaev talking about these days? For God's sake. Oh, Dana, he promised me a title shot. No. He said, what he said was, the winner of Usman versus Khamzat could fight for the middleweight title. Not next, but in the future. Or maybe next. But he didn't promise anything. He didn't say, if Khamzat Chimaev beats Kamaru Usman, then he's going to get a title shot. Those words never left his mouth. Just FYI. It just didn't happen. So Khamzat's getting all butthurt about that. But also, not for nothing, I can say this unequivocally. Khamzat Chimaev does not deserve a title shot at middleweight or any other weight class for that matter. Not without looking impressive. Look, well, number one, he can't even make welterweight anymore. Last time he tried to make welterweight, he missed weight by like, what, 8 pounds? That's not a small miss, right? So he needs to be in middleweight where he belongs. And people keep saying, well, you know, he does deserve a title shot. No, he doesn't, right? I'm not asking for anything crazy here. But to get a shot at the middleweight title in the UFC, you have to have at least fought one ranked middleweight. One. Just one. Preferably one against a ranked middleweight. That's preferable. But let's just start by fighting a ranked middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev has not fought a ranked middleweight. How does he deserve a middleweight title fight? Also, not for nothing, against the 2 ranked welterweights that he fought, the only time he's fought ranked competition, he has looked not very unstoppable. You could make an argument that Gilbert Burns won that fight. You could make an argument that Usman won that fight. They didn't. The judges got it right. I don't disagree with the judge's decision, but let's not pretend like there are these dominant, emphatic victories where it's like, yeah, this guy's got to get a fast track to the title based off that performance. No, none of them were. He looks great in the first round and then he peters out. Do you know what I mean? I want to see him against a ranked middle. I think anybody in the top 10 at middleweight probably batters Chimaev. I think that Cannonier is a horrible matchup for Khamzat Chimaev. That's the one that I'd like to see next. Look, if Khamzat can ragdoll and beat the crap out of Jared Cannonier, then shut my mouth. Give that man a title shot and I will watch it, and I'll gladly watch it. Because I like Khamzat Chimaev. He's a fun character, he's got a decent fighting style, but he does not deserve a middleweight title fight. Not at this time. So, yeah, how do you like the new format, guys? Also, just subscribe. I drop new content all the time, so, you know, I'm going to be doing casuals guides as Roman Dolidze is fighting someone whose name escapes me. I know that Roman Dolidze is fighting, though. Who is he fighting? God damn, I couldn't listen. Imavov, yeah. So, yeah, Niswaddin Imavov, the guy who fights out of Cyril Gane's fight camp. You can really tell. Anyway, should be a good fight. But anyway, I digress. What I was getting at was that I'll be dropping new videos all the time, so hit the bell notification, hit subscribe, and yeah. So I think that's all the UFC stuff kind of done for the time being. I don't think there was anything much else that I wanted to talk about. Let's take a look. We've got the championship games in the NFL this week. It's a shame that there's no 6 o'clock games. It is annoying. I want to watch the whole thing, but I have work on Monday morning. And I'm really big into the Lions. But let's look at the Ravens versus the Chiefs first. I mean, I've got nothing against the Chiefs per se, but I would like to see the Ravens win. They are my more favourite team. I've got nothing against Mahomes. I think he's really, really good. But I don't know, there's something annoying about them. They're too successful now. Do you know what I mean? Nobody likes that level of success. It's why I'm a Jets fan. There's no success to annoy you. You can't get irked by the Jets' success. There isn't any, which is why I like them. But it's just the whole thing with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. It's just all a bit weird. And Taylor Swift, right? I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift. Like, she's a great singer, looks lovely, seems like a lovely person, but I have seen her in interviews. I mean, maybe she didn't say these quotes because I didn't listen to the interviews. I'm going to be totally honest, but I've seen these quotes kind of attributed to her, but with all the climate change nonsense. But do not lecture people on climate change. You're saying no, you guys should be taking the bus. You guys should have electric cars when you're taking your private jet to fly around to go watch your boyfriend play American football. Fuck, shut up. Look. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying don't lecture people on polluting the ozone layer when one trip in your private jet actually causes more CO2 emissions than the average lifetime of a car. Don't do that. Look, you do you, I'll do me. I'd like to do Taylor, not for nothing. I think we can all agree she's a very attractive girl. But yeah, you do you, we'll do us. Well, I'll do. You see where I'm going with this? Just come on. Like, maybe she didn't even say it. Maybe it was like one of these inspirational quotes attributed to Mike Tyson that he never said. because he was just too busy biting people's ears off and being a general scumbag. He never said any of that shit. You know, there's one quote that I think is actually his, where he's like, you know, social media's got you too comfortable, like being disrespecting people and not getting hit in the face for it. And it's just like, yeah, he said that. But all the other ones, he didn't say it. No, there is a quote, a really good one, where he was just being released from prison and someone said that he should be in a straitjacket and he dropped a lot of hard F-bombs, but that's a great speech. I'm not going to repeat the kind of language. Just look it up. Look it up on YouTube. If you've never seen it, type in Mike Tyson rant at reporter. I think you'll probably find it. But it's a good one. It's a good one. I got really off topic there. Sorry, yeah, the Ravens versus the Chiefs. I mean, to be honest, I don't dislike the Ravens' chances. They are the underdogs in this, but not by too much. I mean, they looked absolutely sensational. Like, if Lamar Jackson is on point, then, you know, they can really get this done. I do like Gus the Bus as well, or Gus Edwards. Zay Flowers has been absolutely brilliant. I'm going to have him to score any time, I think, because this is going to be, I'm going to be doing my, this is my live betting. So Zay Flowers to score any time. I like that as a bet. That's good. And you know what? I think I'm going to roll the dice. I would much rather see a Ravens versus the Niners or the Lions than the Chiefs versus the Niners or the Lions. Just personal preference, really. But you've got, you know, are the Chiefs a better team? Probably, overall. I think the Ravens' defence is probably better. I think their pass rushes are better. Oh, wait, no, I'm lying to you. The Ravens are the favourites. Yeah, rightfully so, because they're more better. And Isaiah Pacheco is going to be trash, because he's a trash player. And if you had him on your fantasy team, then you should feel trash. So that's just a dig at one of my fantasy team managers. Season's over now. Didn't win. Again, pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, the Lions versus the 49ers. Look, the Lions are the underdogs, rightfully so. But I don't think I've wanted a team to win more than the Lions since I bet on the Baltimore Ravens back in 2012. Because I did have a bet on them at, like, you know, 30-1 or something like that. I had the Lions at 17-1 before the playoffs started. And they looked pretty good. But I mean, god damn it. The Niners, they're just going to be hard to beat, aren't they? You've got Christian McCaffrey, who's a one-man team. Like, what he was averaging in fantasy was ridiculous. He was being, you know how off the predictions are on fantasy NFL? Like, he was being predicted 17 points a game, which is mental. And yeah, Purdy isn't like the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's just got so many weapons, and he follows the protocol just so well that he's just very, very good. Sam Laporta, I'm a big fan of. I'm going to bet on Sam Laporta to score as well. So Zay Flowers and Sam Laporta, both to score anytime. That is worth £5, because that is that's 8-1. So yeah, that I'm going to be putting on. And that's basically all I've got time for. I'm like, go Lions. I'm all in on the Lions. Let's go Lions. I'd really like to see them. Between the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, may the best team win. Hopefully the Ravens. I would love to see a Lions-Ravens Super Bowl. Good Lord, that would be a fun one. Come on, pray with me now. Pray with me. I can't wait to see it. Anyway, I'm going to be looking forward to these games. I've got a few bits to do, so I'm going to head out. Casuals Guide, Delize versus Imavov I'm going to be dropping those on Wednesday/Thursday. I'm going to try and be more consistent. So I'll be dropping that on Wednesday with a bit of luck. But until next time, guys, keep all those odds long and those bets terrible.